Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have week 8 of the NGDL4 versus Qwilliams. This is actually our third one-on-one match. He is a very good player, and looking at his team, there were a couple of big surprises here knowing his full draft lineup. That was that he opted not to bring both Infernape and Noivern Pokemon he does have access to in the league, so that was a pretty big shock to me actually. Going into this match, I am 4-3, so I could really use another win here to try and keep the momentum going for my team, try and cement my record here in the league, but it will definitely be another tough one, so we're going to get into it. So, looking at his team, I was thinking he was going to want to lead with either the Scolipede or the Raikou, and indeed he does end up leading with the Scolipede. That was what I was hoping for, because I decided to lead with my Aggron. So, right away I am going to go for the Mega Evolution into Mega Aggron. So he is definitely going to outspeed me here. He is just going to go for the spikes to go ahead and get the entry hazard set up on my side of the field. I am just going to go for an Iron Head in return to try and nail this thing with as much damage as possible. That does take him down to about a quarter, which was nice, but then he does get the speed boost to increase his speed. So this turn he is going to go for the switch, does not want to lose his Scolipede this early, so he is going to switch in with the Serena, as I do go for the Earthquake here, just in case he decided to switch, but was not predicting a switch into this thing, unfortunately, so not going to do much of anything there at all. So this turn I am going to go for the switch here. I don't want to take any damage on my Aggron right now, so I'm going to come in with my Incineroar, and I'm going to take some damage from the spikes and get the Intimidate to lower his attack. And he is going to go for the low kick here, which is going to take me down to a little above half, which was not too bad. So he's going to go for the switch here, doesn't want to take any damage on the Serena just yet, so he's going to come in with the Garchomp, as I am just going to go for a U-turn here, predicting a switch on his side, so I'm going to get a little bit of chip damage, which was nice, but I am also going to take the rough skin damage there. And then off the mandatory switch, I am going to come in with my Xerneas, and I am going to take some damage from the spikes, of course, and to get my Fairy Aura coming into play. So, of course, he is going to go for the switch here. He doesn't want to get taken out with a Fairy attack, so he is going to come in with the Slowking, and I did just go for the Moonblast here, knowing it should do good damage to anything he threw in. So that actually doesn't do much of anything to this Slowking, which leads me to believe it is probably max special defense Assault Vest, since I am max special attack. So I'm going to switch out directly into my Goodra and take damage from the spikes, as he does go for the Psyshock, probably anticipating the switch. It does leave me at a little above half there. So this turn I am going to go for the Infestation here. I do have this on here to go ahead and trap Pokemon, which I do go ahead and trap the Slowking and get a little bit of chip damage, as he does go for another Psyshock here. That does leave me at about a third of my health, and then he does take some damage from the Infestation. So this turn I know I'm not going to survive another attack, unfortunately, so I'm just going to go for the Draco Meteor straight away to try and get as much damage as possible on this thing. I actually ended up taking it into the red with a critical hit, but it does survive, unfortunately, and then is just going to go for one more Psyshock, which will be enough, unfortunately, to take out my Goodra and drop me down to 5 Pokemon. So then I'm going to come back in with Xerneas and take more damage from the spikes and get my Fairy Aura coming back into play. Now that this thing is whittled down, I should be able to take it out, but he is going to go for the switch here, doesn't want to lose the Slowking, so he's going to come in with the Raikou, and the pressure is going to come into play here, as I am just going to go for the Moonblast, trying to get as much damage as possible. That does take this thing all the way into the red, but it does survive, and I do actually get the special attack drop, which was nice. This turn he is going to go for a Volt Switch here, which is actually confirmation to me that he is Choice Scarf, seeing as though I'm actually Choice Scarf myself, so he takes me to a little above half, and off the mandatory switch he is going to come back in with the Slowking, as I am just going to Moonblast again, which is going to knock this thing down to about a quarter. And then this turn I am just going to go for one more Moonblast, and this time it will be enough to take the Slowking out and drop him down to 5 Pokemon, which is great. So then he is going to come in with Garchomp. I'm guessing he was trying to either bluff the Choice Scarf on this thing or hoping that I wasn't Scarf, but neither is the case, and I am just going to go straight for another Moonblast, which will take this thing out in one shot as well, dropping him to 4 Pokemon, so that was a pretty great turn of events for me there, as now he is going to come back in with the Scolipede, and here I am going to go for the switch, predicting a Protect on his side. I am going to come back in with the Aggron and take some damage from the spikes as he does Protect. Not going to do anything there, but he is going to get that speed boost to increase his speed. So he is going to go for the switch once again here. Knows he isn't going to survive another attack from the Aggron there, so he is going to come in with the Serena once again, as I am just going to take this opportunity to go for the Stealth Rock, get that entry hazard set up on him. A little late, but I am going to go for the switch this turn as well. I don't want to take a fighting attack from this thing, so I am going to come back in with my Incineroar, take damage from the spikes, and get the Intimidate to lower this thing's attack once again, as he is just going to go ahead and Rapid Spin to get rid of the rocks on my side of the field, seeing as how 2 of his Pokemon will go down to that if they switch in on them at this point. So this turn he is going to outspeed me, hit me with a low kick, but luckily I am able to hang on there with 6 HP in the red, which was awesome. That is going to allow me to go ahead and bust out the Z move here on the Incineroar, which is of course going to be the signature Z move here, the Malicious Moonsault. So being a true wrestling fan, I know that this is actually not in fact Moonsault, but what are you going to do? It is going to do massive damage to this thing. Unfortunately, he does survive that in the red and then get the Figgy Berry to put himself back up to about 3/4 health, so that did kind of suck, but this turn he is just going to go for the U-turn, which will be more than enough to finish my Incineroar, dropping me to 4 Pokemon, and of course giving him the mandatory switch. The only good thing about that is he does have to reveal his Pokemon first, so he is going to come back in with the Scolipede, which does give me a switch advantage to come back in here with my Aggron, and I'm going to take more damage from the spikes. So this turn he is going to switch once again, doesn't want to lose the Scolipede to the Aggron, so he is going to come in with the Serena, as I do predict that switch and go for an Ice Punch here. I actually end up getting a critical hit and a freeze on this thing, which was insanely lucky on my side. This thing did survive in the red with like 1 HP, but it is frozen solid, so can't do anything this turn, as I am just going to go for another Ice Punch, which will finish this thing off for sure and drop him down to 3 Pokemon. So that was a pretty lucky turn of events there for me, pretty happy about that. So then he is going to come back in with the Raikou, and the pressure is going to come back into play, and so I am going to go for the switch here. I don't want to take any damage on my Aggron from this thing, so I am going to come in with my Cresselia, and he's just going to go for the Thunderbolt straight away, which will take me down by only 1/3. I am max HP, very bulky here, and I am going to regain some health with the leftovers. So he is going to go for the switch here again, trying to save his Raikou. He is going to come in with the Skunk Tank. Since I knew he was Choice Scarf, I figured he would switch, so I am going to go for the Ice Beam, predicting that switch. Only going to take this thing down by about 1/4 though, as I do regain more health with the leftovers. So this turn he is going to go for a Pursuit, probably predicting the switch on my side. That is going to knock me down to about 1/3 with a critical hit. I did stay in here trying to get more chip damage on this thing, so I do hit him with the Ice Beam, drop him to about 1/3, and I actually get another freeze here on one of his Pokemon, which was crazy. That is going to be great for me, as I do regain more health with the leftovers. And this turn I am going to go for a Moonlight to go ahead and heal my Cresselia up back to almost full there, as he is going to be frozen this turn. Again, nothing he can do. And then I am going to regain even more health with the leftovers. So he is going to be frozen once again this turn, which again is awesome for me. That is going to let me hit him up with another Ice Beam there, which will knock him into the red, but he does survive that, and then I do regain the rest of my health with the leftovers. So he does finally thaw out this turn here. He is just going to go for a Crunch, trying to get as much damage as possible. That will knock me to about half, but I am just going to fire off another Ice Beam in return, which will definitely finish this thing off this time around and drop him down to 2 Pokemon. So Quite a bit of luck there on my side with the freezes. What can I say? That is the game of Pokemon, folks, but I'll take it. So he is going to come back in with the Scolipede, and he does actually hit me with an Endeavor here, which was kind of a surprise, but that will knock my HP down to what his HP is, so about a quarter of my HP at this point. But I am just going to go for a Psyshock in return, which will finish off this thing and drop him down to just one Pokemon, as I do regain even more health with the leftovers. So finally, he is going to come back in with the Raikou, and his pressure is going to come into play here. He is definitely going to outspeed me as well, and he's just going to go for the Thunderbolt, and that will be enough to finish off my Cresselia there and drop me down to 3 Pokemon, but that is okay. I am just going to switch in here with my Hitmonlee, take some damage from the spikes, and I am simply just going to go for the Fake Out since I do carry that. The normal gem is going to trigger to increase the power, and that will be enough to finish off the Raikou, and that is game. So I won that one 3-0 against Qwilliams, but that was a nice match. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.